Dr. Stenkamp, Europe is at a critical crossroads, facing many challenges but also having many opportunities. We have set many ambitious targets for the next decade. So what do you think are the major challenges but also the major opportunities that Europe has in front of it?
I think this is quite a complex amount of questions, and I could give many different answers. However, first of all, I think the opportunities for Europe is really to stay a leader in technology. I think that's extremely important for our future as European member nations are accomplished. We are enormously challenged from the outside. However, we also need to look for outside markets still in terms of export. We are also challenged with geopolitical pressures from various areas. Just from my recent visits, for example, to India and to China, I can just reconfirm that these nations definitely want to sell their products to Europe. So as a countermeasure, we definitely have to target to sell our high-end products to those emerging countries. Still, China is emerging, but also in particular India. And there we have to look for our stakes. And at the same time, we have to make sure that we save our supply chains, that we get the raw materials in order to build the products we want to sell to the outside world. We have the Green Deal still in force, so to say, and we have to target for sustainability targets, but at the same time, we should not forget that we compete in an international market, and only high-end products will be able to sell outside of the European markets, and that is exactly where we should target for.
You did raise a number of points, and I would like to focus on some of them. You mentioned geopolitical pressure, and a few days ago we witnessed Donald Trump being re-elected as US president. In what ways do you think that will change the US-Europe relationship, and what are the challenges in front of us?
Yeah, so I think first of all, the Trump administration to come will definitely define new rules of international, for example, exchange of goods. I hope that it's to the benefit of Europe, but I'm currently not sure if it actually will be. We already have strong acts like the Inflation Reduction Act in the United States, which have led even to tremendous investments from European companies into the United States, for example, because of tax benefits. However, that means this type of production or this amount of production will no longer take place in Europe in the future. So we will have a shift or a kind of deindustrialization at risk, at least. On the other hand side, the US has been a very strong partner and a protector also of Europe in terms of the NATO now for many, many decades. And now the question is if this still is ongoing, or might the Trump administration even at least generates thoughts about leaving the NATO, and then Europe would be in a completely different position than it has been over the past 70 or 80 years.
You also mentioned the Green Deal and also the green transition challenges. And Europe has set a very ambitious target for net zero by 2050. Do you think that given these challenges, given the geopolitical changes, this target is still achievable? And what must Europe do in order to move forward towards that end?
Yeah, so I think it's most important now to realize that sustainability cannot come at all costs, so to say. So whatever is being introduced in terms of sustainability measures, regulation system, law and so on, it has to pay off for the company, and it has to pay off as well as for society. So I think that many companies, and this is what I experience in our daily business as TIC companies, testing, inspection, certification, that what we see is that companies exactly think about that what amount of money they invest into sustainability targets and only choose those which really show a clear value and a clear benefit also for the companies themselves in terms of a payoff, at least over the next 5 or 10 years.
Another major global trend is the development and use of artificial intelligence in a broad spectrum of sectors. In what ways do you think that artificial intelligence will change the environment, and do you think that it will be as impactful as it is stated to be?
Yeah, so for me, artificial intelligence is a substantial achievement of human being. It might be one of the most disruptive developments of human history at all. However, when it comes to sustainability, artificial intelligence can be either used to gain sustainability because it simply provides efficiency in processes. But on the other hand side, the use of advanced algorithms like large language model consumes tremendous amounts of energy. So it will be a trade-off in the future. Yeah, and that's exactly why many of the big AI companies, most of them emerging from the United States, they even think about to bring, for example, nuclear power stations back into operation in order to provide the energy required to really operate a large language model, artificial intelligence on a larger scale.
And what about your role, your industries, the TIC industry's role in this equation? How important are you, and what is your input in all these developing times?
Yeah, so TIC industry always has and even has a larger role in this overall context. So, for example, certifying sustainability projects, this is a very big thing that we are dealing with, but also everything that has to do, for example, with renewable energies, photovoltaics, wind park certification, wind on offshore, but even modern types of, for example, nuclear reactors, like these small modular reactors now becoming into discussion and play more and more. We are all providing both the safety as well as the IT security measures to operate all this complex infrastructure. And on the other hand side, we are more and more engaged also, for example, to secure international supply chains. Yeah, that means we certify suppliers and we make sure that companies do no longer risk their supply chains even by geopolitical influence. So there are keywords like really spreading the supply chains over more countries, make yourself more independent as a producing company from your supply chain origins and so on. And in particular also artificial intelligence is a major factor. So we provide certification schemes to really certify AI systems on the data quality, on the value of the data, but also to keep in alliance, for example, with the now going to be implemented EU AI Act. That means this even covers, for example, ethical principles which have to be obeyed by AI systems of the future, no social scoring, no discrimination, and so on and so forth. So these are all very important aspects that we as TIC company like TUV NORD or TÜV Hellas here in Greece in particular are taking care of to the value of our customers.
And you did mention TÜV Hellas, and I would like to end our discussion with focusing on your subsidiary in Greece. Yeah. It has been operating for over 35 years. So what is its role in the broader TUV infrastructure, and how important is Greece for you and you for Greece?
Yeah, so Greece and TÜV Hellas always has an important role for us. In the past, it was very much focused, for example, on the Middle East. That means expanding our business from TÜV Hellas into the Middle East area. Cyprus, Lebanon are just two examples. But now in the future, we regard TÜV Hellas and Greece also as a hub of the TÜV Nord Group towards Africa. Yeah, so with companies like Egypt, Libya, Algeria, but also other African nations become increasingly important, yeah, for example, with respect to raw materials on the one hand side, but also with development of their own nationwide infrastructure. We have big projects, for example, in Egypt. So there's a big railway road where we have a certain part in the certification. There are big wind parks going to be built. We certify these wind parks. The production of hydrogen is an important aspect for Egypt because it has a lot of sun power, so to say, and photovoltaics, which can be turned into green hydrogen. So finally, there are many, many projects we run out of Greece or under the coordination of our subsidiary here in Greece. So from our point of view, strategical point of view, it's of even increasing importance for the future.
Thank you very much, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Greece again.
I thank you.